What is up, my hunting brothers and sisters? Welcome to a hot, rainy day here in Indiana. I'm sweating profusely because I just wrapped up this project, which is going from a bag target that looks like this and was all shot out to making it new again. So stick tight, check this video out. This is a way for you to save money and get some longevity out of your expensive bag targets. Before I start on this project, I gotta clean up this mess. My garage on my barn acts as studio number 2 for me. All right, today we're gonna talk about archery targets, specifically bag targets. Now, bag targets are very popular, and they are because they're relatively affordable for the life that you can get out of them when you take care of them. But unfortunately, there's a lot of guys that will invest $50 to $75 to $100 in a really nice bag target and find themselves 3 years down the road, they've shot that target out or the target's starting to fall apart and they end up having to throw it in a dumpster and go and invest again. And targets don't have to be a consumable product like that where you need to go and replace them every 2-3 years. So I'm gonna show you today how a bag target is typically made. Not all of them are made this way, but most of them are typically made this way, and how you can extend the life of your bag target with just a little bit of maintenance, taking some care of it, and hopefully you can get many years out of the bag target. All right, so this is my bag target. This target here, I've actually owned the center of this target for probably 7 years, 6-7 years, I would say. And you might think, well, this target doesn't look too bad. Well, it's some of the stuffing's coming out and down there, but if we flip it over, you can see this target's in really bad shape. It's all been shot out. The stuffing's actually hanging out. I'd shot up this side, flipped it over, and now the stuffing's being pulled out. So a little bit about this target is, when I bought this 6-7 years ago, it was a Delta speed bag target, and I got it because my daughter was shooting a crossbow and I needed something that was crossbow related or crossbow rated for speeds, and this was. And so I was all hyped up on it and thought this is gonna be awesome, and actually it was. And then I was kind of bummed out a year into it when I had started shooting out the centers. It had holes in it. It was just falling all apart. So I started doing a little bit of research online and come to find out a lot of these targets like this are simply filled with old cloth. So a year, 2 years into it, I bought a replacement cover for it, which was a Delta. I don't know, I spent maybe $35, $40 on that. And then I actually found this third-hand bag, which is kind of nice, and I think they're about 25 bucks online. And so I changed it out, and so this bag here is probably 3 years old, I would guess. And so we're gonna change it out into a new one today. Number one problem with all bag targets is the weather. And today it is hot outside, it's been raining on and off, and the sun and the UV and rain are terrible on these targets. So what I found over the years to get the most longevity out of a target like this is to store them inside. And so while I've had 3 years out of this one, I keep it actually in a lean-to that's about 15 yards or so away from where I shoot right here. And it keeps the UV off of it. I can just hang it up. I got some paracord. I hang it over these screws that are in my frame. And it's really easy for me to set up and tear down. Another thing is a lot of these targets, again, have a cloth material that's inside of them, which I'll show you here in a little bit. And you don't want the rain in there because when these get wet, trust me, I've taken one apart and they are the nastiest smelling things ever when they get wet. So I'm gonna show you here, we're gonna tear this one apart, we're gonna change it out, and I'm gonna show you for about $25 in a new cover, I can get another 3 years out of it, basically a brand new target, because the stuffing inside will last forever as long as you keep it out of the weather. All right, so we're gonna tear this one apart and we're gonna put on this new cover. This, again, this is actually the Rag Bag by Third Hand Archery. I have zero affiliation with this company, I do know that he makes some unique products for the archery industry, but I have no affiliation with them. Paid for this with my own money, full price, made in the USA. This one, again, I probably had on at least 3 years, and yes, I don't keep it out in the weather, but it has survived well. So here we go. So the best thing to do is make sure you get a nice garage space that's clean and dry. And again, you don't want to let this bag set out in the rain, because if you do, this will be the nasty mess. This stuff's already going to be gross inside, but it will be absolutely horrible if you let it sit out in the rain. So this one, when these come, these rag bag ones, they actually come with a Velcro top, and then they've got these areas where you can put on zip ties to kind of reinforce it, to help it stay shut, because there's a lot of material in here and it'll be under pressure. And again, I used some paracord as hangers, which I've got a bunch of paracord. So, but this is going to be nasty, and it smells kind of funny sometimes. But all this is, that's in the majority of your commercial archery targets, this is just fabric, t-shirts, whatever, just fabric that is shredded and cut into strips, and you can make your own by keeping old shirts. And in this one too, the original Delta target, there was this stuff. It's like this, I don't know, some kind of synthetic membrane, but I think that they just get all kinds of used clothing. You'll find chunks of sweatshirts in here. It is just always a mess. And you can see if this was wet, this would be absolutely nasty. And you can always add to them too. That's the beauty of this, is you get one of these bags, and if you get a bag that's bigger that you want to refill, or you know, you lose some product over time or whatever, you can just add to it with your old t-shirts. You know, we all have t-shirts that we've either outgrown because we've ate too much, or they just have fallen apart because we've, you know, worn them to work in or paint in or whatever. So you can add your own stuff to it. So one of the cool parts about this is not only when we put the new bag cover on do we have a nice new surface, but we have a new packing job, because as you shoot these, if you've ever spent time shooting bag targets, you know the centers get wore out. Everywhere you primarily shoot gets worn out. And there's ways to stand on them, squish them, manipulate them from the outside, but nothing beats a complete unpacking and repacking to reset all the materials and get them dense. So as you saw there, that only took, I don't know, that took 3-4 minutes to get it unpacked. And we are going to get out the new cover and we're going to pack it all in. All right, as you can see, here's the new cover. They fold the corners over and stitch them for reinforcement. Once it's done, I'll actually burn a hole in each one for my paracord as a hanger. So we're going to stuff everything in here. Okay, so that literally took 5 minutes. I'm sweaty and gross, so it's a gross process. I was wrong about something. They don't have the holes for the zip ties. That was something I added now that I remember thinking about it. So how I do that and the why I do it is, this is Velcro strip. The zip ties across the top just help keep it from opening. We all know that Velcro isn't the most secure thing out there. So how I do that is I take a nail in a set of vice grips and a torch, and I heat the nail up, and then it gives you a nice melted hole, and I do it on each side of the Velcro, and then I can put my zip ties through there, and we can get it to hold nice and solid. And I do the same thing for the hanger holes for the paracord so that I can hang the thing up. And Rosie here is going to supervise, obviously, as you can see. So just get the nail nice and red hot. And then you can come in here and be like, okay, I want to put a hole there. And I'm gonna put one right there. And you're gonna do that a few times so you can put, oh, 5 or 6. I'll probably put like 5 zip ties along the top edge here. And do it below the stitching so that they can't rip through. Now I'll go out here where it's banded over. Get a little bit hotter again. For my paracord, where it's all doubled over and nice and strong, and I'll give myself a nice size hole there for paracord to hang it, and come in right about in here. And I'll do the same thing. And then just using some little zip ties. You can use whatever size you want. I just happen to have these little ones. You can stick them through one side and then out the hole that you made in the other side. Get them through there and tighten them down. And again, what that's doing is just keeping this Velcro from pulling out, because Velcro can be a pain. And when you're loading all this cloth in here, you'll notice you get little cloth fragments in the Velcro. There we go. And so your Velcro is not going to get like 100% seal like on 2 fresh sides of Velcro would. So if you just do this, it keeps this whole top from splitting out. And then using some paracord, you just cut yourself off a couple pieces. You want to try and get them about the same length so that your bag hangs relatively level. Not that it doesn't have to be perfect, obviously, but you know, you don't want it laying up there at some weird angle. And then you've made those really nice holes. And you can burn the ends of your paracord if you want to. It might help it get through the holes. But I don't do anything fancy. I just stick it through, and then the tag ends here. Just do an overhand knot like that. So now you got something to hang on that side. And then this side, the exact same thing. And now that can hang. And so as you can see, in about 10 minutes time, sweaty, nasty time, we completely replaced the face of that target. And now I've got a brand new target with all brand new dots. All the stuffing's good. One of the things that you can do long term on your targets is when you start to wear them out in the center, is you can lay them down and you can jump on them up and down with your knees. You can sit on them. You can sit on them, you know, this way on the sides. And what that does is it recompresses all of the material that's in there, especially in the centers where you get them shot out. And that works for a while. It's not going to work for once it all gets truly shot out, but it definitely helps for quite a while. So that is how you can refresh your $70, $80, $100 bag target that you work so hard to spend your hard-earned money for and getting ready for deer seasons. It is a hot summertime, so why not spend your time and get something like this ready? Again, I have no affiliation with these guys, but it's like $25 or so. I'll try and put a link in the description. So if you want to buy one, I like these because I think when I did all my research for the money, the size and money ratio seemed to be about the best. There were some that were cheaper, but it was a much smaller bag. There were some that were bigger, but then it would require more stuffing. And so this worked out really well for me, and the price point's good. And seriously, I'll get another 3 years easily out of this cover. Again, keep them out of the weather. So with that, God bless. Deer seasons are right around the corner. I need to go in and take a shower now because I'm disgusting and gross. And as always, it's a new day in the outdoors.